If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that I recently built a metal cutting CNC that I've used for several projects. And in this video, I'm going to start building a new one to replace it. And I'll go into more detail throughout the video as to why I'm doing that. To get started, I've got some 5/8 inch thick melamine that I'm going to be cutting up to make formwork for the base, because I'm going to be making the base from cast concrete. And I'm using melamine because it's relatively cheap and it's very flat and smooth. Cement doesn't stick to this white stuff that's on the surface, so I'll get a nice finish. So step number one is to make the formwork for the concrete. And like I said, I'm using melamine for that. I've got a full sheet here that I've set up on sawhorses outside my workshop. I'm going to cut it to rough size, then bring it into the workshop and cut it down to the final size. And the way this formwork is constructed is that it has an inner part. That's the part that I'm working on right now. We'll call that the plug. And it also has an outer part that defines the outside of the base. And I'll be cutting those parts out after I finish the plug. I should say something about the piece that I'm cutting here. This 3/4 inch plywood, obviously different from the melamine. I'm using that because it has to step down. And the reason why I'm backing out of this cut is because as I'm cutting into that plywood, it's closing on the blade. So each time I pull it back out and run it through again, it opens up that curve, as in it cuts away that part that's curving in and pinching the blade. And therefore, I avoid kickback. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, a riving knife would fix that problem, but my table saw doesn't have one. And besides, I know how to deal with and prevent kickback. So while having a riving knife is a very good idea for a beginner or someone that doesn't have that much experience, it's not going to do a lot for me. I got all the parts for the plug cut out, and now I can start putting it together. This is all getting nailed together with 18 gauge brads and no glue. You don't want to use glue. First of all, wood glue doesn't stick to this melamine surface, and also I need to be able to take this apart after the concrete's put in there. So while it has to be solid, of course, it also needs to be easily taken apart. And then when that's done, I can get the outer part of the formwork done. That's the bottom, which is actually the top of the base, and the sides and front and back. Now, even before I bought this material, I did a lot of planning so that I'd know exactly how big these pieces need to be. Now on to the first reason why I'm rebuilding the CNC, and for that all you need to do is look at the name of my channel. I build it. I like building stuff. For example, the table saw that I have now, I built that 3 years ago, and it's probably the 10th or 11th table saw that I've built over the course of my life. Now, like I said, I did a lot of planning before I got started, and that's important because the base has to be built accurately so that the rest of the machine can be built accurately on top of it. And then the plug needs some reinforcement put in there. Unfortunately, I didn't put enough in, and that caused a problem further down the road. But I also took the time to round over the corners so that the corners of the concrete on the inside would be slightly rounded as well. Then I can get the form put on my workbench, which is perfectly level and flat. And I need to add strips to the top edge to keep it from bowing out. In concrete forming work, this is called the yoke, and I'm just using offcuts of the melamine to do that. Now the big piece that I'm putting in here keeps the plug in place, first of all, and also adds strength to the top edge to keep it from bowing inwards when I put the concrete in. And I cut spacer blocks to get that centered properly, and I can just screw that down. Now what I got here is some 3D printed parts. These are actually anchors that are cast into the concrete on the top edge of the Y-axis, and these will make it so that I can drive screws down into this without drilling out the concrete. I thought it was a neat detail. And those are put on both sides and glued down with super glue to hold them in place. Then I can get the plug put in. As you can see, it fits down over that bigger piece and goes up tight against the end. And I can get some screws in there to hold that in place as well. Now what I got here is another 3D printing idea. I wanted to add anchors to the actual bed of the concrete base. And to locate those anchors, I took this old plastic lens that was broken, but there was enough area here that I could use, so I used tape to hold it together while I cut it. And then I always check these things with a square to make sure that they're square before I go any further. And luckily I did here because it wasn't. So I got out my Norm Abrams style crosscut sled and squared up one edge, and it chipped out a lot, of course, but that'll be cleaned up afterwards, and it's not really that important anyway. All this needs to be is square. So I ran that cut, took the sled off, and then I recut it to the proper length. I know it looks like my fingers are very close to the blade, but I have to hold down this plastic, and I'm paying very close attention. I don't want to cut my fingers. They're my fingers after all. I don't want to cut them. And then check it again with the square, and yes, perfect this time. Now I can cut it to the actual length that it needs to be, and then I'm going to bring it down to my big CNC, the one that started all this, and I'm going to cut in a series of holes that are just a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to use these holes to locate more anchors on the bed. Time for another reason why I'm rebuilding the CNC, and I'm not going to say I did a bad job with the first one, but I did it on the cheap. I used the parts that were left over. I didn't spend that much money on it, and I didn't spend that much time either. And while it does work well, I think I can improve it greatly with this rebuild. So now that I've got the formwork done, I can move on to making the concrete that goes in there. And the concrete that I'm using is just sand mix. That's a mix of sand and cement. You get that at the home center pre-mixed. While that's pretty strong, I want it to be as strong as it possibly can, so I'm adding some Portland cement in there as well. And I'm mixing this up by hand in small batches. And when I get a batch mixed up, I'll bring it over and pour it in. And the thing about concrete is you don't want to have it too wet, that weakens it, but then you don't want to have it too dry either, because then it won't get into all the nooks and crannies that easily. And as I'm putting it in, I make sure that I vibrate it, and that's by tapping on the sides. I stopped doing that though. Tapping like that can cause problems, loosen up the formwork or whatever. So instead I used a margin trowel just to pack it down, and that worked out well. Mixing small batches of concrete by hand isn't especially hard work, but I do want to make sure I get all of it out of the bucket before I mix the next one. And mixing concrete indoors is dusty work, so I turned on my air cleaner, and that's what you hear running in the background. I didn't keep count, but I think I mixed up 10 loads like this. And no exaggeration, this is almost exactly 200 pounds of concrete. Oh, look at what I did here. I knocked one of my anchors out, being a little bit careless with the margin trowel spreading around the concrete. But no big deal. I got more than enough to hold down the bed. So pour it in and smooth it out and pack it down and make sure that I don't knock out any more anchors. And what I got here is a piece of cloth that I'm using as reinforcement, because I'm sure some of you are saying, well, where's your reinforcing steel? Fact is, this concrete base doesn't really need any reinforcing. It's just going to be sitting on a table, and it'll have plenty of strength to hold itself together. But I had this piece of cloth that's very strong, and rather than throw it in the garbage, I burned some holes in it so that the concrete would bridge through the holes, and use that as a reinforcing mesh that gets tamped down into the concrete, and then I fill it up the rest of the way, covering that in. When you're making something like this from concrete, what's known as a monolithic pour, you really want to get it all done in the same day so that you won't have any cold joints. And I was able to do that, except I ran out of sand mix and I had to go buy another bag. What I got here is a piece of straight melamine, another offcut, that I'm using as a screed to flatten what is the bottom of the base. This thing, as you're looking at it right now, is upside down. And so this is the bottom. But I still want to make it as smooth as I possibly can. So I'll go over it with that screed, and then I'll take another one after it's set up a little bit more and go over it again. And while you're watching this, I'll talk about the third reason why I'm rebuilding a CNC. And it has to do with where it is. The first one that I built, I put down inside a room in my basement, thinking that would be the perfect place to put it. But using it a few times and tracking flakes of aluminum throughout the house, I soon realized that this really needs to be out in the workshop. And that's where this one's going to stay. In the next video, I'll be taking the formwork off and we'll get to see just how good this turned out. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, you want to do that so you won't miss the upcoming videos in this series.